Look, to go and do that.
He's telling
You can
businesses
spin this
who to
all
have
the
on
way you
air.
want. The President of the United States is not going to, he didn't make a promise to go and invade boardrooms and tell companies, private companies, how much they should pay their employees.
One thing he did do was say that he was going to make life more affordable. And as we pointed out, most Americans say that they don't think that that's where it's headed. He said he would bring prices down. We all knew that that wasn't going to happen because that's not really how prices work. Inequality continues to go up. He talked about bringing down government spending.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. In today's video, Abby Phillip clashes with Tim Parrish on NewsNight with Abby Phillip as the debate heats up over equal pay, CEO salaries, and the widening gap between wealthy and working Americans. Tim Parrish defends the system, but Abby Phillip pushes back hard during this intense CNN exchange on wage inequality and rising living costs. Let's dive in and see how the showdown unfolds.
The pay of America's CEOs rose 20 times faster than workers in 2025. And while the average global CEO pocketed $8.4 million in pay and bonuses last year, it would take the average global worker 490 years to earn the same amount. Adjusted for inflation, global worker pay fell 12%, while real CEO pay surged 54% between 2019 and 2025. But as CEOs use their increasingly growing power to undermine workers' rights, one of them is defending that $9 latte that you had the other day.
What we're seeing is people, they want to have a special experience. And regardless of what your income level is, in some cases, a $9 experience does feel like you're splurging. And then what that means is we have to make it worthwhile, right? And then in other cases, people believe, well, this is a really affordable premium experience because they're saying well, it's less than $10.
I feel like to fully appreciate what he just said, you might also want to know that the CEO of Starbucks was given a private jet to commute to his office from his home in California. He is going 1,000 miles away, presumptively as often as he wants, and he's got a big old corporate jet in order to do that. And he's asking you to pay for a very special experience in a $9 cup of coffee.
Well, that video was not a premium experience. I'll start there. That was really cringeworthy. I am curious to know, I don't go to Starbucks often, but I'm curious to know if the premium experience is the barista writing your name incorrectly on the cup. Is it the people that squat there all day long and turn it into their home and office? Is it the really bad coffee? I don't know. I'm very curious about it. But to those who are complaining, every time I walk by Starbucks, every time I drive by Starbucks, there is a line as long as the eye can see. People still go. They want their fix. They're willing to pay. So we can't complain unless we use our power as consumers and say, you know what? I can make a cheaper, better cup of coffee at home, and I'm going to do that. But people want to pay for convenience.
Yeah.
Too.
I mean, I guess the thing is, fine. I guess if you have a business model that says $9 for coffee, which they do, is fine. Then the other side of that, so what are you doing for your workers? I think the part that Americans don't like is where they feel, gypped on the other end, on the salary end, on the benefits end, on the ability to sort of provide for their families, that part.
Abby, I'll take a different approach to that because I believe that we live in the greatest country on the face of the planet, and there's unlimited opportunity here for anybody who's willing to work hard and go after it. If you're upset about this and how much your CEO makes, go launch your own Starbucks. Go launch your own company. Go
Not that
create
easy.
competition. Of course, it's not that easy, but it's never that easy to start a company or something. So anyone in this country, like I said, who's willing to work hard and apply themselves, go become Starbucks competition and sell $7 premium experiences and undercut your competition.
Please like, subscribe, and share. This debate showed why so many Americans feel disconnected from today's economy. Worker productivity has risen for decades, but wages have barely kept up while CEO pay has exploded. Many people feel the system mainly rewards those already at the top. The idea that workers should just start a business ignores today's reality. Housing, healthcare, childcare, and student debt make financial risks much harder for families living paycheck to paycheck. Many Americans still struggle to cover even small emergency expenses. Frustration also grows when CEOs receive private jets, bonuses, and luxury perks while employees fight for stable schedules and better wages. Starbucks has faced union battles and labor disputes nationwide, highlighting the tension between management and workers. Most people are not angry because companies succeed. They are frustrated because profits and economic gains seem concentrated among executives and shareholders, while everyday workers face rising costs and financial pressure. That is why debates like this connect with so many viewers today.
Like I don't think that I wouldn't complain. I would just say if I don't like it, I'll go start my own thing.
I think. Go ahead.
Can I ask you a question?
I'd prefer if Abby asked the questions, but sure, you can ask the question.
I mean,
It's okay. We can talk to each other here.
do you think that it's insane to say that Starbucks should raise their wages for their workers? Is that insane to say as a concept?
I think that I believe in free markets, and if a private company sets their wages what they are, then that's what they are. And if you don't like the wage,
Do you support the minimum wage?
If you don't like the wage, don't go work there.
You support
I've
the minimum
applied for
wage?
hundreds of jobs where they didn't meet my minimum I wanted to make, and I didn't go work there. And it was as simple as that.
You also don't have the affordability, or you have the affordability, most likely, to say no to some things.
Sure.
Some people have to take jobs that don't pay the living wage to keep up with rising inflation, and they are in these positions. And I think to Abby's point, what you're seeing is workers at these companies are just not getting paid for what they should be. And then you see these CEOs getting these extravagant, enormous bonuses. And that is the choice of the company.
Right, it's
but
the
I
choice
think
of
there
the company.
has to be some type of conversation that we have of raising the federal minimum wage and and giving workers more benefits
I appreciate
so that they
that.
can be competitive in the
I
marketplace.
appreciate that. My mother worked 3 jobs when we were coming up. And if something didn't pay more, she would either go get another job or she would work hard to achieve so she could go make more money.
But
it's not as simple as
it's not really about the math.
just telling a CEO what they can do with their business.
But it's not really about the math and the economics. It's about values, right? So not long ago, the guys, and they were all guys who ran big American companies, GM, Ford, Sears, those things. They paid themselves about 20 to 30 times the wage of the average worker. Today, that's 300 to 400 times. Japan doesn't do that. Germany doesn't do that. The UK doesn't do that. America does that because the values shifted from what's best for the company to how do I drive the stock price up and get as much of that as I can. And the notion that so much of it is going to so few people is one of the reasons we got Trump.
Because largely, we understand that when Trump was running for president, he said that he was going to raise the wages for all these workers all across America. But real wage growth is 80% less than what it was. So that's the real facts. So if you make a campaign promise that you're going to raise wages for workers all across this country and you do not deliver on that, then who does that fall on?
Well, I don't think the president's point was he was going to go tell private enterprise that you have to pay people.
He said he was going to create the economic conditions to do so. Has he done
but
that?
That doesn't mean that he was going to go invade businesses' boardrooms and say you have to pay your
Did
employees
he create
more.
the economic conditions to go and do
we
that?
can,
He's
you
telling
can, you can
businesses
spin this
who to
all
have
the
on
way you
air.
want. The president of the United States is not going to, he didn't make a promise to go and invade boardrooms and tell companies, private companies, how much they should pay their employees.
One thing he did do was say that he was going to make life more affordable. And as we pointed out, most Americans say that they don't think that that's where it's headed. He said he would bring prices down. We all knew that that wasn't going to happen because that's not really how prices work. Inequality continues to go up. He talked about bringing down government spending. I couldn't let the day pass without this headline. The Trump Qatari gifted Air Force One is almost delivered, it sounds like, $400 million of taxpayer dollars to give the president a more luxurious ride in the midst of this conversation that we're having, in which 2 in 3 Americans now say that they worry more about running out of money than dying in this country. Look, I think the question I had for you, because I hear a lot of people talk about 2 or 3 jobs, but is that what we want in America?
Right.
For a mother to work 2 or 3 jobs in order to keep her family afloat? I take it that is an extraordinary thing that your mother did and that many of our families have done. But is that what we want for the future of this country?
I mean, look, that's a point that's taken. I think mothers like mine and others at this table do what they have to do to go and provide for their families. And my father also, for the record, worked several jobs as well. But my point that I'm making is simply this. I would not complain that my CEO is making all this money if I had an issue with that, I would go start something. I would go create something. I would go create means for me to go and make more money if that's what I wanted to do. We live in a country where that is available. We live in a country where people
We actually
can, in fact,
don't live in
go
the country where
and
that's
do those
available.
things.
Here's the thing.
We create new businesses are started in this
I
country
think you,
every
no, I
single
think, can I
day,
just say
and
something?
business
I think
owners are
Tim
successful.
Tim is tapping into the idea that the American dream and the idea that you can pull yourself up by your bootstraps and create a business, create jobs, grow your wealth is available in this country. And I don't think that is the reality that many Americans face when they see gas prices at $4.39, the highest that they've been since 2022. I don't think Americans feel that the opportunities are there for them. And that's frankly something that Donald Trump said he would create, opportunity.
Please like, subscribe, and share. What really drives this debate is the gap between economic theory and everyday reality. In theory, a free market rewards hard work and opportunity. But many Americans feel the system is becoming harder to break into as wealth concentrates at the top, while wages struggle to keep pace. Starting a business sounds great in principle, but the reality is more complicated. Access to credit, rising healthcare costs, housing expenses, and regional inequality make entrepreneurship far riskier for people without savings or strong financial networks. While new businesses are still being created, long-term survival remains difficult for many small founders. At the same time, growing executive compensation compared to average worker pay has fueled the perception that economic gains are not being shared evenly. That frustration keeps resurfacing in political and cultural debates because many workers feel stability and upward mobility are becoming harder to reach. So the real disagreement is not about ambition. It is about whether opportunity is still equally accessible in today's economy. One side sees a system full of opportunity, while the other sees barriers growing higher every year. Pause for a second. Are you tired of getting only half the story from biased news sources? One outlet says one thing, while another says the complete opposite. That's where ground news comes in. It lets you compare how left, right, and center media outlets cover the same story, so you can see the full picture instead of living in an echo chamber. And here's the best part.